meaningless creature.
You can't keep me in here. Let me out of here.
That if you didn't have me, you'd have nothing. You would be empty because your life is empty.
He says his mama was scared by a pawnbroker.
You're meaningless. You are a bug and I squash you.
So long, Bob. So long, Bob. So long, Bob. That's all, folks.
Bob Grant, weekdays at 3 on WABC.
Bob Grant. 4-hour extravaganza from 3 until 7. I'll be looking for you. Will you be looking for me? Let's all say it together. Oofa!
The Bob Grant Show, now 3 till 7 weekdays, here on 77 WABC.
I said that maybe the astronomers should rename the planets of the solar system. Don't touch the first planet closest to the sun, Mercury. Venus is aptly named, the second planet from the sun. The fourth planet from the sun, Mars, nothing wrong with that. Jupiter, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with Saturn. Nothing wrong with Uranus. Nothing wrong with Pluto, Neptune. Nothing wrong with those planets. It is the third planet from the sun that is misnamed. For some strange reason, it is called Earth. A misnomer. It should be called Insane Asylum, or the Meshuga planet, or Tutuguandebats, or Todos los personas es loco. I mean, we are crazy and getting crazier.
Time now for the king of talk radio.
WABC, New York, Bob Grant.
Let's be heard. Good afternoon, everyone. The telephone lines are open. The number to call in New Jersey, 489-WABC. New York uses 212-563-WABC. In a program dedicated to the free and open exchange of ideas and of opinions, in the belief that as American citizens, you have a right to hear and to be heard. And what is on your mind this afternoon? I don't have to tell you, do I, that this is our first get-together in the year 1992. A year that should see us together more than we were in 1991, because I have reluctantly agreed to extend this program an additional round. Instead of our 3-round get-together, it is a 4-rounder, effective today. And hopefully for you and for WABC, I will be able to tolerate this encumbrance sufficiently to remain for the duration. I have mixed emotions about it, but nevertheless, I'm not going to dwell on it. I think there are far more important things to talk about, at least on the surface, although in reality, to me, what is more important than myself? To you, what is more important than yourself? I mean, stop and think about it. If anybody shows you a photo, let's say it's your school graduation photo, or the time you were on that camping trip, or the time you were on the fishing trip, or wherever you were, and there are several people in the photo. Maybe there's 10, maybe there's 20, maybe there's 30, maybe there's 100. Whose likeness do you seek out? Whose countenance do you study? Whose features do you appraise? Certainly not that overweight blob that's standing in back of you, or that over-made-up wench that's seated next to you. No, you look at yourself, and that's all right. But unfortunately, or fortunately, as the case may be, we cannot live alone. We don't really want to live alone. We would like to live in harmony, and yet it is not an easy thing to do. But right now, it's Diane, who is our first caller of the year.
Yes. Oh, okay. I'm calling. I just turned on the radio, and I must say I'm kind of outraged here, Bob, to hear you referring to American blacks as savages. How dare you?
I dare very easily, because if they act like savages, I call them savages.
You can't say they. Do you know that Europeans were barbarians?
Here we go. So long, babe. Is scum. Benny is checking in. Hello, Benny. Benny from Queens. Hello.
Hi, Bob. Here's the answer to your question. Genesis 28.
Oh, I know what you're going to say about why people have children.
And replenish the earth.
In other words, every time a sex has a coitus, whether he's on top or she's on top, they say, let's read Genesis, multiply and replenish the earth. We are multiplying, we are replenishing the earth.
Let me ask you something, Bob. Why do you think that was put in the Bible? Seriously, why did the person who wrote that put it there?
For the same reason he wrote all those other idiotic things to make us miserable.
What did he mean by the word replenish?
Well, he might have meant maybe everybody every now and then ought to have a child. But I still ask, in all seriousness, Benny, I still ask, why in the world do people have children? It is a travail. It is a tough thing, tougher than ever to raise children. It is a thankless task.
Why did you have them, Bob?
I didn't know any better. I really didn't.
Wasn't there some kind of an internal drive that forced you to be fruitful and
internal
multiply?
drive? I don't know. Tell me about yourself. Yeah, presumably you know more about yourself than you do about me. Do you have children?
No.
I knew it. I knew it, Benny. I knew it.
Why?
Only a jerk like you would talk so sanctimoniously about the Bible. I said, watch, I bet you this scumbag never had any children. He's probably not even married. By the way, say hello to your husband, Bruce, for me, will you? Steve, you're on WABC. Hello. Patrick, you're on WABC. Hello.
Hello, Grant. Mr. Grant?
Yes?
Yeah. What I call, let's touch on a little bit what that caller was talking about, cars. I always buy American cars, and I think American cars are better. Anyway, what I call to talk about, why you always have people, you and others, and you allow your callers to make derogatory remarks about third world people? And
are you a third world person?
Yeah, you could say.
Are you a third world person?
Yeah, I'm from Jamaica.
But great. You've just been deported. I deported him. And I wish I could. Shane, you're on WABC. Hello.
Yeah, Bob, I just want to congratulate you to stooping to an all-time low with your interview with Biaggi.
Where are you from, Shane?
United States of America.
Really? I mean, prior to arriving in the United States of America.
Why are you eluding my statement?
Because of your stupid accent. Eluding my statement. Why you... Get off my phone, you weasel. Florence, you're on WABC. Hello.
The quality of my life would improve greatly if they would only legalize drugs or do something about it. They distribute not only drugs now, they distribute the guns. They're responsible for most of the crime in the city, which clogs the courts. Have to pay for prisons. I mean, I live in Woodside, Queens, right off Roosevelt Avenue in the 50s. You know, sometimes I can hardly get down my street. I'm a senior citizen. I would join you in Jersey gladly, but I can't afford it. I have to run the gauntlet between the kids and the dogs. Police, I've got police all over the place. But you want to know something? I don't feel a bit protected. I don't know what I'm sure the majority of them are honest, but there is an indication that they are on the take and that they'll protect them. But they're not. I don't feel protected. So What are we going to do about drugs? I think, when I look at Jim Jensen, who was a drug addict, he looks great. He got rid of his drugs. I have known people who were alcoholics who, when they got dried out, still could not function. So what's so dangerous about drugs?
If you want to know what's so dangerous about drugs, you can visit a lot of county morgues throughout the United States. You could visit a lot of cemeteries throughout the United States. You could visit a lot of insane asylums throughout the United States.
1,200 pounds.
And you're a hysterical old biddy with your. You know what? I think your tennis shoes are a bit too tight, Florence.
No, they're not. I'm telling you.
Okay. Thank you for the call, Florence. Thank you. And why do I come in here? Really? Why? Why? Oh, yes, that's right. I forgot. Let's see. Simon, you're on WABC. Hello.
Hello. How are you, Mr. Grant? Mr. Grant, I wanted to talk to you about what your opening line with Ice-T. I agree with you 100%. You know, when you read what he wrote, I disagreed with it because it just caused a little more hostility between races. Although I have been subject to the racism he talks about in the Korean stores, but I do agree with you. What you said is that we should open our own. You know.
What do you mean you've been subjected to racism in the Korean stores?
Sure, I have.
In what way were you subjected to racism in the Korean stores?
I'll tell you, it's very subtle, and it. You know, I don't know, and I've thought about it a couple of times. I don't know whether it's racism because of my color or racism because of what I'm wearing. And I'll tell you like this. If you walk in with a suit, you get treated a certain way. If you walk in with jeans, sneakers, jacket, baseball cap, you get treated another way.
Well, what's that got to do with race?
Well, see, that's what I just said.
You just contradicted yourself. You fake, phony, fraud, you pompous oaf. You jerk, you just contradicted yourself. You come in there and you say, well, it's got to do with race. I've been racially discriminated. And then you say, if you wear a suit, you're treated one way. If you wear a sneaker and all that, you wear something else. You fake. Get off my phone. You're a jerk. Roy, you're on WABC. Hello.
Yes, hi, Mr. Grant. You're right on there with that fellow. I like to...
I mean, did you hear how pompous... you know, I've been subjected to racism in the Korean stores. And then when I ask him, he starts talking about, well, if he's dressed in a suit, he's treated nice. If he's dressed like a bum, he's not treated nice. What's that got to do with race? Nothing. On WABC, let's say hello to Fred. Fred, hello.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Grant. How are you this fine afternoon, sir?
What's on your mind, Fred?
Mr. Grant, I happen to be a big fan of yours, first of all, and there were two things I'd like to ask you about. One is immigration, and there's another thing concerning Katie Couric, and I realize that you do have a lot of callers, so I'll be brief, and maybe you can answer my question off the air.
No, I don't answer questions off the air. Okay. I do the Bob Grant Show on the air.
Yes, sir, I have. Okay. Bob, in talking with a friend of mine, because I missed the program a few days, we were talking, and he happens to listen to you also, co-worker.
Why all this build-up here? Just come to the point.
Oh, no, because I was defending you, although I know you don't need me to defend you. But he was saying, first of all, concerning Katie Couric, he said to me that you had called her a no-good bitch.
No, I said she was a smug bitch.
Okay, a smug... Oh,
smug bitch.
Okay, because you had interviewed Colin Powell, and I said...
No, I said she was a smug bitch.
Okay, a smug bitch, sir. Because she had interviewed Colin Powell, and it was hard for me to believe that because I know that you think well of Colin Powell. So I said to him, well, if you did call her that, it must have been for some other reason.
Well, the reason I said that was here she's interviewing the #1 man in the American military.
Yes, sir.
A great leader like Colin Powell, and she says, I see that Dwight Eisenhower is a hero of yours. Why? Now, what a stupid... Why?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a general of the Army, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and she's surprised that Dwight Eisenhower was a hero of his?
Mm-hmm. I know.
That's why I called her that, not because she interviewed the guy.
Thank you for clearing that up for me, sir. And also, another thing we were talking about concerning immigration, concerning there were some Cubans that had come over, and the conversation got onto the boat people, the Haitian boat people, and he said that you said, again, I'm getting this secondhand, but I know you'll give it to me straight. He said that you said that it would be better if they had sunk if the boats had sunk.
Yeah, I did say that.
Okay. I just, you know, as I say, I know you give it to me.
I said it then, I'll say it now, and I'll say it again because that's what I feel.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, now, is there any reason why, particularly why you said that? Because I'm going to go back to him and let him know that, you know, I spoke to you.
I couldn't care less. You don't have to report. You know, what do we have to have, a middleman here? What are you, an interpreter?
No, but it's just that he put words in your mouth with the first thing with Katie Couric, and I know you give it to me straight.
I don't need any explanation. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You know, I'm a little dubious about guys like that who call saying, you know, I have this friend, and he said, and I just want to be able to go back to him and straighten him out. What do I care if the guy straightens me out or not? What is that guy? His friend. First of all, his friend is in his own mind. On WABC, I hate some people. I despise them. I loathe them. Don't you? Let's try Ann. Ann, you're on WABC.
You have a habit of calling women over 50 old bigs? And not only that, remember one thing. La vecchia na carogna, chucaroña con arriba.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. Would have thought she could have done better. I don't even know what she said. What kind of stupid dialect was that? I don't even think that was Barres. I wonder what kind of dialect that was. Anybody know what kind of dialect that was? And by the way, that wasn't Italian. That was some real gavone dialect. Bombo, hello. Are you there?
Yeah, man. My name is Bombo.
Oh.
Bombo class, you're talking about third world people. We take care of this country better than you, Grant. Listen to this.
I'm listening.
You're a fake, funny, and a fraud. Public enemy was right, and you are thinking wrong.
I don't know.
Why you so phony?
Who's giving you instructions in the background there? Is that who's that in the background?
Sister Soldier.
Who's that in the background? Aunt Jemima? Get off my phone, you jerk. Todd, you're at WABC. Hello.
Yes, I said my name was Todd, but my real name is Shabu. Shabu Shabazz, and I am calling from a scratchy cordless phone with my adenoids in full bloom, Robert. Hello, are you there? You said hello, now I said hello. Now what do we do? Just listen to each other breathe? You are a homophobic misogynist with a natural proclivity towards the skinheads. You know what I mean, Robert? Hello, are you
Give my regards to Don Corleone, will you?
Thank you very much, Robert.
It goes without saying. Thank you.
Goes without saying.
Okay.
You betcha.
All right.
Adios, amigo.
Yeah, okay. Ben, you're on WABC with Bob Grant. Hello. Are you there, Ben?
Yes, I am, sir.
Go ahead, please.
In a recent National Review, William F. Buckley wrote what I felt was an extraordinary essay on anti-Semitism. And I'd like to focus in particular on a section of the essay on Pat Buchanan, because I know you've often said that you don't think that Buchanan is anti-Semitic.
And neither really does William Buckley. If you read the whole thing.
Well, he seems to come to a reluctant conclusion that if Buchanan is not anti-Semitic, he has said some indefensible anti-Semitic things.
That's more like it. That's true.
Right.
Don't forget, this was a 40,000-word piece.
Right, exactly. Oh, yeah, it wasn't just Buchanan that he focused on. Also, on a different, well, sort of on a different topic, just a point of curiosity. The fellow who fills in for Joe Nolan, Eddie Arnold,
yes,
is the same guy who used to sing "Make the World Go Away"?
Absolutely
Make
not.
the world
Absolutely
go
not.
away.
Absolutely not. I hope you get over that stomachache, you bum. Ralph, you're on WABC. Hello.
Hello, Bob.
Yes.
You had a consultant on there before, and he didn't seem to get much of a rebuttal.
A consultant?
Yes, a Japanese...
Jim Laughlin, yes.
Well, I took exception to a few of his remarks, and I think if he were placed alongside of Tokyo Rose, I don't think he could...
Oh, cut it out.
Let me read.
You know, you guys, you gavones, you really, I can't believe
say
it.
This.
What an absurd comparison.
Didn't he threaten, didn't he say, well, if the Japs don't buy our bonds, what would happen to us?
Well, that's
and
not a threat. He's just pointing out that it's a two-way street.
Yeah, well,
you know, small-minded gavones, they just focus on one aspect of this whole thing. It's a two-way street, pal.
Now, let me say another thing in regard to his traitorous remarks.
please.
He was
Traitorous. There's nothing traitorous there.
That story about your John Deere machine. He was so happy to hear that. Well,
no, he wasn't happy to hear that. He was just pointing out. No, he was pointing out the irony of it all. The irony of it all, that even when we think we're getting an American product, we're not.
That's right. The Japs make the best cars, and they also have the best lobbyists and traitors in this country. Thank you very much, Bob.
You're a gavone! On WABC, I can't stand gavones. But just think, where would I be without them? Hey, then I'd really have to work for a living. George, you're on WABC. Hello.
Hello, Bob. How are you? Happy New Year. What I'd like to know is if you could possibly entertain this stupid question for...
On WABC, let's say hello to Ken. Ken, hello.
Hello, Mr. Grant. It's a pleasure to be on the radio with you. I've listened to you for 4 years since I've come to this country. And I don't always agree with what you say, but you have some logic in what you say. What I'd like to say is that I am a bit disappointed with the government in the way that they're not saying to people they should be buying American. Everything should be bought American, not just along the cars, but a policy should be made or some campaign should be brought around by the American government to say, people, the only way we can come out of this recession...
Oh, cut it out. Cut it out. Get off my phone. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm tired of hearing this same dirge. Bob Grant on WABC. Hello, Jim.
Yes, Bob. I want to begin by saying I find your show very interesting, informative, and very intellectual. I want to refer to the individual you had on your show a short while ago who was a researcher on the infant mortality. And I find very gratifying your deep concern about children dying, infants dying.
It's not my deep concern. I just interviewed the guy. I don't want to pass myself off as somebody with
I understand, but you seem to have expressed some concern, as I gleaned from the intonations of your voice, what have you. That's fine. I find that laudable. But like Sinatra, that you find his going to Waldorf Astoria to that birthday party, you found that to be sort of an anomaly with respect to Sinatra. That's fine. Perhaps it is. Now, I also find a similar situation when we're so concerned about infant mortality, and yet we just are so insensible to the right for a woman to choose. I mean, while we're concerned about infant mortality, we go to an earlier stage of this budding life and destroy it before we could even get to the point where they might be salvageable and try to cut down on infant mortality. That seems to be a contradiction. Perhaps you could explain it to me.
Well, the reason it seems to be a contradiction is you equate a fetus with a living child, with a child that is viable and living and breathing on its own.
But,
and you see, I don't equate a fetus. I don't equate an unborn entity with a born entity. I don't equate the two. That's why I believe in pro-choice.
Right, but Bob, let us consider what you've just said. The fetus, we just give it a name. It's a baby for many people. The fetus, as you say, is not living. It's not a living thing.
Here we go again. Here we go again.
No, could you show me?
Here we go again.
No, wait,
for heaven's sake.
You have to have a fair mind, and you have to be objective about it.
You have to be objective. Are you objective? You're not objective.
Yes, I am.
No, you're a fanatic.
No.
You're an absolute fanatic. When you equate.
How could dead matter?
When you
know of anything in the history of
Hey, look, pal. Hey, look, pal. Look, you don't believe in abortion, then don't have one. But if the lady next door wants to have an abortion, you have no right to interfere with her.
Well, you know what? I agree with you in this sense, that perhaps your parents should have thought of that same thing and have given a good choice where you're concerned. Maybe we wouldn't have the Bob Grant that we have today.
Well, that'd be okay with me because guess what? I wouldn't know.
That's
I wouldn't miss
Fine.
it. I wouldn't miss it. How could I miss? Hey,
perhaps
stupid!
the world-
How could I miss something?
Yeah,
I
but
mean, after
perhaps
all,
the
what is
world-
life but an unnecessary
Perhaps the
interruption
world
to
would be a
pleasant
lot
non-existence
better
anyway?
off. The air would be cleaner to breathe.
By the way,
if
where are you
people
from?
like
May I ask you where you're from?
I'm from Long Island.
You're also from Hungary, and you're a
Yeah.
fake and a hypocrite. Let me tell you why I
Let
say
me
you're
tell you, if you-
Let me tell you why I say... You want me to hang up on you? You want me to hang up on you? You want me to hang up on you?
I'd like to listen
All
to
right,
you
I'll
also.
hang
I'd
up
like
on him. I'll tell you, I had to hang up on him because I wanted to say this to him, but he kept talking. Here's a guy who praised me just 3 minutes ago, said this was a great program, intellectual even, an intellectual program, and how stimulating I was, how much he enjoyed listening to me, and now he's calling me all kinds of names and castigating me because I won't buy his argument equating a fetus with a living child. Too bad I had to say that about you, Jim, and couldn't say it to you. By the way, Jim, where are you from? Jim, you're on WABC with me, Bob Grant. Hello. Are you there, Jim? Jim. Jim never ever sends me pretty flowers. Remember that one? Tom, you're on WABC. Hello.
Yes, Bob, you're widely traveled. Have you ever been to Japan?
This is Tom.
Wait.
The lover of the Palestinians.
Have you ever been to Japan,
I'm Tom. I can't stand you, Tom.
Hold it, Bob.
Hold
Have you
it,
ever been to
Bob.
Japan?
Did you sober up for this call?
Have you ever been to Japan?
No, I haven't. I have not been to Japan. And next summer, I'm taking a group to the Orient with Pathway Travel, and we're going to avoid Japan because it's so doggone expensive. I want to keep the cost as low as possible for the good folks on the Bob Grant tour.
Well, listen, did you ever hear of the I Knew People over there?
What are we going to play? 20 questions? What are we going to play? Are these Palestinians too?
No. The I Knew People. Wait a minute, hold it. Wait a minute. Give me a break. Would you give me a break? Give me a break.
I'm listening.
Okay. Did you,
No, I won't give you a break if you're just going to do nothing but ask questions.
No, wait a minute.
Paul, you're on WABC. Paul from New City. Hello.
Hi, Bob. I'd like to say that I'm glad Mayor Koch is getting at least 1 hour on the radio because I really miss the guy. I miss his personality. But I think he's far better mayor than Dinkins is, but, that's not what I called for. I just want to say how relieved I am that Mario Cuomo is not having the opportunity to do to 250 million people what he has done to 18 million. In addition, I'd like to say Howard for president. Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
Tony, you're on WABC. Hello.
Sure, Bob. I think that I just want to comment on the culture, the American culture of the past 20 years. I think one of the most sickening thing about it, I think that the slavish attitude that so many people have toward corporatist culture, and I think that the implication of this corporatist culture, which usually comes from the right wing, which they clouded with a kind of populist notion, is that defending corporatist culture implicitly...
defending what, pal?
Corporatist culture against working...
Defending what? I don't understand you.
Well, corporatist is the term that Mussolini used for fascism.
Corporate what?
Corporatist, that this kind of... that corporate America is wonderful, and nobody ever criticizes. You can criticize the politicians, you can criticize the blacks, you can criticize the Mexicans...
No, you can't criticize the blacks. You can't. No. I do, but I'm the only one. Yeah, and I don't do it because they're black. I do it because people like Al Sharpton and so forth and so on deserve the criticism. But
okay, but nobody ever criticizes corporate America, and I was wondering...
Oh, cut it out. What do you mean nobody ever criticizes corporate America? Corporate America gets a lot of criticism every day.
They certainly...
But it's if you want to generalize and say, oh, it's a corporation, therefore it's bad.
No.
That's like saying, oh, this guy's Croatian, therefore he's bad. By the way, where are you from, pal?
I'm a European, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't ask you what continent. I asked you specifically, what country, pal?
Well, I'm from Albania. Not only here.
Why are you so hesitant about
telling me what I suspected in the first place. Are you somewhat reticent about the fact, admitting that you're of Albanian extraction?
Well, I think that the main issue is that there's hardly any criticism of corporatist...
Are you embarrassed because apparently there are a lot of Albanian savages up there in the Bronx carrying on something terrible?
Well, they're not savages.
What? They're acting like it. They're acting like it when they take some kids and spray paint in their face.
All right, but
and say those things and do those things. What is that?
Well, I guess everyone is a savage, but you're using that as a red herring.
Red herring?
The main point is that what you're doing...
I'd like to know, when did you arrive in my country, Tony?
There are no countries.
All right, when did you arrive in... What do you mean there are no countries? When did you arrive in the United States of America?
They're multinational...
When did you arrive in this country, Tony?
They run your lives.
Tony, when did you arrive in this country?
25 years ago.
How did you get out of... Albania 25 years ago? Albania was one big prison camp. Enver Hoxha was running that country like a devil's island. How did you get out?
All right, but that's really not the point.
That's not the point. You don't want to tell me how you got out, eh?
I emigrated, so...
but how? How did you get out? He had no immigration policy. How'd you get out?
I was invited here.
Invited here?
Yeah, by invitation.
You got an invitation to a party, and you went over to Enver Hoxha in Tirana, and you said, look, I've been invited to this party. I got to attend. And he says, okay, you can go, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's, but I think you miss it. I'm a full-fledged American citizen now, and I don't need this kind of, racist attacks. The fact of the matter is that you have a situation where working-class people in this country are treated like garbage.
Oh, cut it out. What do you mean treated like garbage? The working class in this country is treated better than anywhere in the world.
Well, that's why you have such a recession, which is really affecting...
A recession has nothing to do with the treatment of the working class. Nobody has as many coffee breaks. Nobody has as many personal days. You ever hear that? Personal day. We got people here. They have the easiest job in the world to sit here and be the engineer on a Bob Grant show, which is, in other words, to be paid for being entertained. And somebody won't be here one day, and I'll say, where's so-and-so? And they say, oh, she's taking a personal day. With all the vacations they get, all the time off, they got to get a personal day. What is that? To look in the mirror for that day? What is that?
Well, the fact of the matter is that...
Hey, listen, pal, if the American worker is so downtrodden, then you know what you ought to do? You ought to go over to JFK, you ought to get on a plane, and you ought to fly out of here and stay out of here because you don't belong in this country, you ingrate. You ingrate.
You don't know
Get off my phone, you...
European workers...
Get off my phone, you ingrate.
European...
Yeah, what?
Well, European workers have 4 or 5 days, vacations, all right? And they usually work no more than 5 or 6 hours a day.
All right, so we'll do it that way then. On you. They're sick out there, folks, and guess what? They're getting sicker. Al, you're on WABC. Hello.
Yes, sir. I'd like to ask you, are you people who are broadcasters and television interviewers, are not you sort of quasi-government employees and officials?
No, we're not quasi-government employees or officials. We do not work for the government in any way, shape, or form.
However, you're in a position where you can say anything you want about the government without being criticized.
Oh, we're criticized. No, stop, Al. Hold it.
Yes, sir.
We're criticized all the time. We're criticized all the time. Look at me. I'm criticized every single day.
Well, maybe I misstated. Tell you what I had in mind. When I listened and watched 3 of these commentators get on in the morning and offer an opinion and put an end to this man's possible political career, I don't care one way or the other. However, are they not in a position, cannot they be asked what their stands are, what their past has been?
Well, they can be asked, but that's irrelevant.
Should they be not answer it?
No, I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. They're not running for public office.
Well, on my concern...
I mean, you could ask me a lot of questions. Matter of fact, you can ask me anything you want, but I think it would be different if I were running for public office. Things that you might put up with because I'm just an unimportant talk show host.
Well, that is not so. You know that. You have a bigger command than most employees, most government employees. When you hear Congressman Marinari get on the phone, on the TV, shouldn't he not be asked, what about your past? Did you have any...
Well, I'm not going to speak for anybody else.
Just ask you, are we not entitled to know before these people criticize?
No, I don't think you're entitled to know, but I don't think you have to know.
Now, one other question.
Well, I don't think you have to know. Remember, keep in mind, Al,
yes, sir,
that there's a big difference between a person like you, for example, and the person who's running for public office. The minute you run for public office, and suddenly whatever you've done becomes of interest to the voter.
No, my concern is this. Let me try it all once over.
Yeah.
My concern about this is that some of these TV commentators, interviewers, and journalists put themselves in a position who have worse past than anybody else, and they're holding up this man to criticism.
Well, they're not holding the man up to criticism. What they are trying to do is find out what happened and what the public, how the public reacts is what really counts, not what the journalist thinks, how the public reacts.
Well, and I'd like you to read some of these columns in the Post tonight where you have a Washington correspondent of a sheet that is worse than a star, and the language she uses, and just because her picture is there and she has the press, that she can say anything she wants without divulging any of her past.
You're talking about Amy Pagnozzi?
Yes, I am, sir.
Well, I read her column, and I found it very interesting. And
you approve her language and her phrases?
Well, all right, what is it you didn't like? When she said to unscrew?
Yeah, all of that, various things like that, yes.
She also used the phrase oral sex. You didn't like that? What is the phrase you didn't like? What is the word you didn't like?
Those things I didn't like, but here's a woman I know not. I would like somebody to say to her, Amy, tell us a little about your past. For example, one other question, and I'm through. Did any of you pursue to any extent when two things about President Bush, when he was asked about running around with having an affair with his secretary?
Well, it wasn't a secretary, and yes, he was asked. And it was found to be. There was found.
Did you ever pursue it on any of your programs?
Yeah, we found that there was absolutely nothing to it.
Well, why don't you find out if there's anything that Clinton before you condemn him?
It's not up to me to prove that Clinton is.
If you made a speech.
Hey, look, jerk. Jerk.
Call me a jerk. Don't call me.
Yeah, I'll call you a jerk. I'll call you worse than that. Where can I meet you? Because I can't call you what I'd like to call you on the radio. You freak. Get off my phone. On WABC, let's say hello to Dave. Hello, Dave.
Hey, hello, Bob.
Yes, Dave?
Yeah, I've got a question that I'd like to ask you. I've been listening to the program for quite a while.
Well, I'm impressed.
And
nice to know that you don't have to work for a living, that all you have time to do is listen to the program for quite a while.
No, unfortunately, I work while...
All right, what's the question, pal?
What is it that you have against Caribbean immigrants to the U.S.?
Well, I don't have enough time here. This is only a 4-hour show. All right, let's go to someone identifying herself from Englewood as Clorette. Hello, Clorette.
Yes, this is Clorette. I just wanted to say, look, this country is really screwed up, Bob. And I'm really pissed off because we're suffering from the Neuro syndrome. We're talking about some bubble brain's sexual preference. And then there's a guy who's raised $250,000 to buy his time on TV instead of getting free time. And he's going to be talking about the nation and how to save the people of this country. And that man is Lyndon LaRouche. And I think people better wake up right now, or else we're going to lose our country. We're going to lose everything.
All right, we'll send money to his jail cell, and
That's
we'll
right,
send it.
And he's running for jail for the U.S. presidency.
We'll
on the ballot in 10 states, and it's going to be on 20 states.
What are you on, Clorette? What do you take each morning? Do you take it nasally, or do you swallow it? You take it by needle? You got to be on something to support that Looney, Lyndon LaRouche.
Like everybody's going to be on drugs if they don't support Lyndon LaRouche.
Yeah, okay. We'll send all the money.
And on this Saturday night, Channel 7 at 10:30 p.m.
The jailbird, they're sick out there, getting sicker, folks. Lorraine, you're on WABC. Hello.
Hello, Bob. It seems every election, Bob, they try to pull out all the dirt, like they did on Gary Hart. Of course, he was stupid.
Hey, look, if you don't have dirt under the carpet, if you don't have a skeleton...
But who doesn't, Bob?
Well,
I bet we could find some dirt on you.
Well, I'm not running for office. Lorraine, I'm not running for office.
It makes no difference.
And, it does make a difference because if Bill Clinton weren't running for office, if he weren't running for president, nobody could care. People could care less about. I don't understand why you people can't differentiate between a citizen and someone running.
Why are you so against him? Why are you so against him? Look at Eisenhower. He had a woman on the side. They all do.
Eisenhower had a woman on the spot.
Yes, he had that woman over in...
All right, so bring back Bill Clinton then. All right, Eisenhower had a girlfriend.
Bob, will you let me talk?
Oh, I can't take this. I can't take it. I don't know why I really don't know why I come in here and do this. I really don't know. All right, let's get back to our busy telephones and say hello to Joe, who's calling the Bob Grant Show from Brooklyn. Hello, Joe.
Yeah, Bob. I just think the best question was asked by stuttering John Melendez, who asked, did Gennifer use a condom with Bill? Because, firstly, what is she famous for? I mean, she's famous for having sex, and she should be asked questions, about the topic of sex. Wouldn't you agree?
No.
I mean, that's what she's famous for. That's why she's in front of all these reporters.
No, she's not in front of all these reporters because she had sex. Because, Joe, a lot of people have sex. Maybe someday you'll even have sex.
Maybe.
She was in front of all these reporters because of who she had the sex with and the fact that he, according to her, lied about it.
Yeah, but...
And what do you mean Stuttering John asked that question? Was he the guy who asked the question at the press conference?
Wasn't it him? I think so.
Really? Ask Stern. Tell Stern to come out of the toilet and ask him if it was Stuttering John.
Hey, Bob, but, I mean, she doesn't...
Ababooey. Okay, I beat him to it. All right, Wayne, you're on WABC. Hello.
Hi, Bob. Bob, I was wondering, did you hear a couple of weeks ago about what happened at Kennedy Airport with the Bureau of Agriculture agents shooting 15,000 gulls?
They didn't shoot that many?
Yes, they did. 15,000. 14,980 something gulls over a 62-day period. And
you talking about seagulls?
Seagulls, right? They did it in May. And they did it secretly without telling the Audubon Society or the Sierra.
Well, who the hell is the Audubon Society or the Sierra? They're not governmental agencies. Well, they're just self-interested busybodies. They don't have to report to them.
Well, the Audubon Society was working with them with another campaign last year where they were destroying the eggs in the National Wildlife Preserve. But the real story here is how dangerous JFK Airport is. It has more bird strikes than any airport in the nation. 1/4 of all the bird strikes happen at JFK Airport. Now, the real battle is between the Wildlife Preserve, the Jamaica Bay Wildlife Preserve, and the airport. The airport has now shown that they want to destroy the Wildlife Preserve.
Well, they better.
They better. You think we should be better off without a Wildlife Preserve in New York?
You bet, because if they're going to endanger human life, endanger those jet airliners landing and taking off, then better to destroy them or get rid of them somewhere.
Why not just fly around it?
Because I put people before birds or before any kind of animal.
Yeah, well, I happen to live in the flight path of those planes, and they keep increasing. Well, I guess you don't care about the people on the ground either.
Oh, the people on the ground, yeah. The people on the ground I care about.
Oh, yeah. Well, what about the noise from these? What about the children who?
Hey, I got a great idea, Wayne. I got a great idea.
What about the children who have had their hearing damage? What about the children in these neighborhoods who can't sleep at night because of the damn planes from JFK Airport? Do you care about them, Bob?
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to repeal flying. Flying was never invented. People can't fly. The Wright brothers lied.
So it's okay to have children have their sleep disturbed and the hearing damaged because it's necessary, right?
Of course not. Of course it's not okay.
So maybe JFK should start reducing their flights.
Maybe JFK should close down. All airlines should close down.
Well, how about reduction?
Yeah, okay, we'll reduce them. Hey, you know what, Wayne? You're a pain in the neck. Get off my phone. And he did. Marie, you're on WABC. Hello. Are you there, Marie? Marie, are you there? Marie in Bergen? Zabrovia no Spachin. All right, Margaret checking in from Long Island. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon, Bob. I wanted to comment on what I think is your overreaction to the mafiosa comment made by Gennifer Flowers. She initiated the comment. He did not.
Oh, he certainly did.
No, he acquiesced to it. He did not initiate.
In other words, by acquiescing, that takes him off the hook.
Well, the point that I wanted to make was this was.
Why don't you contact Il Supremo? Because why are you contacting me?
Wait a minute.
He didn't say it about me.
Because you're the one who brought it up and who thinks.
Well, no, I didn't. I didn't bring it up. It was brought up in the press conference, and everybody heard it. And you make it sound like it's only me. It's only me. It's on the front page. It's on the front page of our tabloid
What I want to
newspapers.
say is this is a private conversation. This is not a public. These are not public comments.
Yeah, but it became.
And I'm sure there are many of us that will make private comments. We would not want them to be made public.
But Margaret, it did become public, and it revealed what this guy really is. In other words, what you're saying is, if he's bigoted that way, that's okay because he kept it to himself.
No, but I would think that somebody with your sophistication and your savvy would not overreact.
I don't think I'm overreacting.
I think you are.
I tell you what I'm.
Two people are from Austin.
What I am reacting to, Margaret, is the lack of reaction on the part of the media.
I think that you and Mario Cuomo and Bill Fugazi are all overreacting to private comments made by two people on a phone conversation that was taped. We all say things in private, boss. I'm sure you
Are you a Bill Clinton supporter?
No, I am not.
Well, you should be because you would make a magnificent Bill Clinton supporter.
So?
Because apparently the man can do no wrong in your eyes.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, that's not what
these are two people.
Is this a legitimate issue now that it's become public or not?
I think you're overreacting.
No, forget about my overreaction.
All right, wait a minute, Bob.
Is this a legitimate issue as a result of it becoming public or not?
No.
It's not an issue?
No.
The man's character is not an issue.
People who come from the state of Arkansas, they probably never even met Italians before in their life. You and I both know that there have been comments before.
I mean, how provincial do you think they are? They never met Italians in their life. Margaret, you're an old bag. Get off my phone. Steve, this is Bob Grant. Hello on WABC.
How you doing, Bob? Just a quick thing to the last caller. I would just mention Gary Hart, who was a liberal Democrat who was raked over the coals by the media, justifiably so. And George Bush, who in the National Enquirer back in '88 printed a story on him involving a woman at the State Department, probably trashy story, never verified, but it was in the National Enquirer, never picked up by the mainstream press. So I don't think there's a double standard at all.
No, the mainstream press picked it up, but then there was nothing there. Unlike, hey, wait a minute, Steve. Wait a minute. Do you have the Enquirer with you?
I don't.
Okay, let me tell you this. Unlike this case, there was no specific woman who came forward. There was no tapes. There was nothing. There was a rumor that one woman had spread, and then she was forced to say she made it up. So don't you try to equate that with this, you baboon. Kay, you're on WABC. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Grant.
Yes.
I'd like to, I called last week, and I'd like to apologize to the Catholic Church for saying they fear women.
You'd like to apologize? Where do you
apologize?
Well,
I called and I said...
What do you mean you'd like to apologize? Are you a spokesman for the church? Did
no,
Cardinal O'Connor appoint you as a spokesman?
No, last week I called and I said the Catholic Church fears women, and I think that this wasn't a proper thing to say.
Oh, you're apologizing for what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, I misunderstood.
Okay, and secondly, I like to say that sensationalism is sensationalism, and public criminal record is public criminal record. And I don't think these two issues should be blended together. I think sensationalism is
I don't know.
Is an impediment to our...
I really don't know what you're talking about, and I don't think you are.
I know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Tyson, the rape, sensationalizing victim and criminal, I think, to sensationalize.
How old are you?
How old am I? How old are you?
Okay, you can get off the phone, you little punk. When they talk that way, I have no use for them. All right, John, you're on WABC. Hello.
Yeah, Bob, question. You trying, would it be fair for me to say that if the Haitians left Guantanamo Bay, go into Cuba, take a boat from Cuba, and come to Miami, would they be granted political asylum?
No, there'd still be Haitians looking for economic gain, and it wouldn't change anything.
Why is the Cuban considered political refugees?
Because they are fleeing Fidel Castro. Now, if you want to get the same status for your pals from Haiti, tell them to have Fidel take over Haiti. See, and they could do it. Yeah. What are you laughing
for?
I
have a question.
Yeah, crack it up, John.
No, I'm not cracking up.
Yeah, you are. Yes, you're laughing.
How
John.
come is that?
He's laughing. I'm going to tell Sharp James on you.
How come is that when they named the Central Park jogger rapist, you got upset? Why? And also, what's the name of that young lady who said she got raped in Brooklyn? Could you tell me that?
What is your point here?
Yeah, my point is your double standard, your hypocrisy.
You think so? You think I'm guilty of hypocrisy?
Yeah, you're not
In what way is that hypocritical?
Well,
are you trying to say that because I agree with Steve Friedman that it's okay to name Desiree Washington, who accused Mike Tyson of rape?
No, you're not being consistent.
I mean, I admit, I think Tyson ought to beat the rap. I think from what I've seen here, I hope they find him not guilty. Is that what?
Well, I have no problem with that.
Oh, you have no problem with that?
I'm having a problem with your hypocrisy.
Well, I tell you what, you want to avoid problems? Don't listen to this program anymore, John. Get off my phone. I want to say hello to Michael, who's calling from Brooklyn. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Mr. Grant. Thank you for taking my call. As a long-time listener, even though I don't agree with your views, I appreciate your well-informed opinion. I just have to digress with something. Earlier, you had a gentleman on, black gentleman, I'm married to a black woman, who was speaking articulately, and you cut him off rather abruptly when he mentioned slavery. Meanwhile, though, somebody calls up named Uptown, obviously not a black person, and you let him ramble on and on. You're just perpetuating a Stepin Fetchit attitude on your program. And I don't understand how a man so educated and well-informed permits this kind of thing to go on.
You're rather patronizing, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're patronizing. You sound rather pompous. I don't understand how a man of your intelligence could permit this thing to go on. Permit what thing? You act as though I'm permitting some transgression to go on.
You are, sir. You are.
Really?
You definitely are. I mean, your ignorance shows through there.
You're contradicting yourself, Michael. A moment ago, you said how well-informed I was, and suddenly I'm ignorant. You can't be ignorant and well-informed at the same time. Those are mutually...
But in your personal opinions and your...
By the way, why didn't you blow your nose before you made this call?
Excuse me?
You should have blown your nose before you made this call.
Well, I figured your bald head is good for a handkerchief.
See, here's the guy that tries to sound so rational, so reasonable. I knew you were a phony, pompous ass the minute you started talking, you jerk. All right, Bob, you're on WABC. Hello.
I must be touched listening this long, and just to tell you that it's flaccid, not flaccid. You said flaccid penis. It's flaccid penis.
There's a K in it?
No, but if you look in the dictionary, it is pronounced that way. It's not like you said before, you're flaccid when you're off the air. Well, you are, but you're not flaccid. It's flaccid. Look it up.
I see. Gee, that's real important, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. Get off my phone, you creep. On WABC, let's say hello to Tom. Hello, Tom. I really should get out of here, really. Tom, hello.
How you doing, Bob? I think Pat Buchanan is the savior this country has been longing for.
Cut it out.
He really is. He puts America first, Bob.
Oh, what does that mean, put America? What does that mean?
Well, let me explain.
I mean, it's a nice, fancy slogan. There was a guy by the name of Charles Lindbergh who was a great American hero, but it was very misguided in the 1940s. And he had a group called America First.
Can I just explain? The only reason you're not supportive of Pat, as far as I could see, is that he puts Israel in its place.
No, he doesn't put Israel in its place. What do you mean, puts Israel in its place?
He didn't support the parents.
No, when you come on the line and say he's the savior of this nation, and then you say because he puts America first, what is everybody else putting America last?
Well,
come on, cut it out.
Can I explain?
You know, you're typical of the type of person.
Do you? Are you afraid of me speaking?
No, I'm not afraid of you speaking. How could I be afraid of a lunatic like you?
Well, let's talk about the Persian Gulf War and his stand on that war. All right? Are you still there?
Where do you think I went? Do you think I went home?
Okay, I do.
How stupid am I still here?
There was silence there.
What a jerk.
Now, he knew that the only reason we fought that war was to protect...
Oh, he didn't know any... That's a crock. We wanted to get Saddam Hussein out of Kuwait.
Baloney.
You know, you anti-Semites, you make...
Israel.
You're
want
amazing.
Israel to fight Iraq.
You're amazing. So you're saying Pat Buchanan really appeals to you anti-Semites, huh?
We got to stop Israel.
So you anti-Semites really like Pat Buchanan, eh? Isn't that interesting? Get off my phone, you lousy, bigoted bastard. Let's say hello to Mary checking in right now. Hello, Mary.
Mary from Queens?
Mary from Queens.
Bob.
Yes.
I just was listening to you. And, you know, I don't know if you realize what's coming out of your mouth. And it's a shame the station would allow you to talk that way. If it was us, they cut us off. Now, you call that guy a jerk and a bastard, which is not right for you to say.
I call him a bigoted bastard. That's what I call
right.
him.
And you should talk that way, Bob. I'm surprised.
Well, maybe you're right, but...
I mean, you should do that. How come you could call him anything, but, I mean, don't curse that like that.
Well, it's not considered a curse word. It's not one of the 7 words that the Supreme Court says we can't use on the air. It's not a forbidden word, dear.
Yeah, but I'm surprised at you.
Well, be surprised.
You know, it's a shame. They should let you talk that
Well, what do you mean shouldn't let me? Nobody censors me.
Yeah, that's why.
Nobody censors me. Nobody censors me as long as I don't say one of the 7... She hung up. Not one of the 7 words. I should have told Mary it was so easy to avoid hearing that. Just go with the dial. Started his conversation prior to the news. And if you're still there, Phil, go right ahead.
Okay, Mr. Grant, get back to it. You know, when your 5:30 show comes to conclusion and the 9 o'clock show is ready to come on, they get together, the 2 vipers get together, and this morning they were discussing Schwarzenegger's penis. And I was only thinking to myself, the gentleman who is part of the early show was right into it, discussing it. I mean, as an Italian-American man, if my wife would discuss, my wife is right here, and if my wife would discuss anybody's penis in front of me, I mean, believe me, I don't think she'd ever do it, but, I mean, there'd be a lot of trouble in this house.
Well, you're from a different generation.
But anyway,
Phil,
Mr. Grant...
I mean, I'm not...
May I please finish, Mr. Grant?
Yeah, I'm just reminding you that you're from a different generation. You don't relate to folks...
I don't think that has anything to do with it, Mr. Grant.
Well, I think it has something to do with it. Yeah,
and in other words, anybody that's born after me is a sleazeball?
Well, you could put it that way. You could put it that way. Hey, Phil, you could put it that way. Phil, I don't... Look, I don't know why... I don't know why you get obstreperous when I remind you of a truth. You may not like it. Hey, look, Phil. Hey, Phil, I feel the same way you do. I'm just reminding you that these are people from a younger generation than yours. That's all.
Well, Mr. Grant, let me put it this way. I knew Lenny Mancini pretty well, and I know his son Ray. And Ray was interviewed by that Viper that comes on at 9 o'clock, and she discussed his sexual habits while he's in training. I want you to know that Ray Mancini was so embarrassed, he didn't know whether to S or go blind when that Viper, who is of Italian extract. I don't understand it. And you know what I don't understand? I don't understand the male compatriot of the 9 o'clock show that refers to his own, supposedly his own kind, as a cheech and a Kujin. I'd like to see some intelligent young Jewish fella refer to his kind as a kite. He would never do it.
Well, wait a minute. First of all,
a cheech.
First of all, his show goes on at 5:30. It doesn't go on at 9. It goes off at 9.
It goes off. That's what
yeah.
I said.
So what is wrong with a cheech? What is that?
A cheech?
Yeah.
A cheech to me is degrading a person of Italian.
No, that's frank. Cheech is frank. Chooch is
No. A cheech, an Italian immigrant, Mr. Grant.
Really?
An Italian immigrant.
Well,
Mr. Grant, let me give you I told you one time before that there was
you got a lot of problems, Phil. You know you really do.
I do?
You really do.
Well, thanks for keeping me on this long, because I must have started...
No, you really do. No, you really... Phil, you're incredible. You really have a lot of problems.
I do?
Yeah, you really do. You're a bitter... you're a bitter man.
What am I bitter about?
You tell me why every time you call
you get mad at Mario Cuomo because he won't do an interview.
No, I don't get mad at
You
Mario
certainly
Cuomo.
do.
I get mad at him because
You're
he's
very vindictive
because he's a New Deal,
He
ultra-left-wing.
does not do an interview with you. Al D'Amato does an interview with you, but what's his name? The governor...
Wait a minute. I didn't know that your call was about El Supremo. I thought your call...
No, it's about...
Why are you changing... Phil, why are you...
Put a guilt trip on me, and
Guilt
you're
trip?
not going to do it today, Mr. Grant.
I'm not trying to
because
put...
you know something, Mr. Grant? You and Manelli are responsible for that Polish guy who claims to be half Italian. His mother comes from...
Why are you so preoccupied?
And she met some Polish guy with one eye and a patch over the other eye.
Cut it out. Listen, what are you putting down, Polish people, you jerk?
No, I'm not.
Uh-huh.
No.
Yeah, it sounds like you are.
said Polish,
You know what,
they
Phil?
Polish.
Phil, let me tell you something about you.
Good night, Mr. Grant.
Let me tell you something about you.
Mr.
You
Grant,
are a small, ignorant, bigoted gavone.
Possible. You are a scumbag. You will always be a scumbag. In fact, you take it up. You know you do.
I don't believe you. You know what? Here you... Whoa. That one I had to cut. I got it. I get a kick out of you people when a guy says that, the inevitable F word. You go like you never heard it before. I got it. I swear I got it. I got it. Phil showed what he is. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the last time I will take a call from Phil of Old Bridge. That is the last time. Remember this, Mark Furman and that neophyte in back of you there, that acolyte? That guy is persona non grata. I don't ever want to take a call from that low-life, hypocrite, louse again. I gave him the time of day. I tried to dignify him by paying attention to what I was saying and tried to entertain. You heard the conversation. I have been putting up with Phil of Old Bridge from when he was Phil of Ozone Park. And what's the matter? We didn't get it? We didn't get the F word? Oh, we got the F word. All right, so what are you talking? You know, it's very difficult for me to concentrate on what I'm saying when I see the two of you look like you're going to walk the plank going to your death. Call Chairman Murphy on the phone right now. Okay, Mr. Murphy, don't fire Susan Ronneberger and Mark Furman. They didn't do anything wrong. Okay, fine, everything's okay. It's cool. All right, you're clear. Getting back to Phil. See, he upset everybody here. Ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you, and I mean this very seriously, people who meet me quite often after the broadcast, if I'm going to dinner with some people or they meet me socially or something, they're surprised at my equanimity. They're surprised at how placid I look, how serene I seem. And they say, you know, Bob, I can't believe that. I just heard you screaming and shouting on the air and you look so calm and relaxed. Well, that's because when 7 o'clock comes and we slam the lid on things, we are slamming the lid on things. But where Phil of Old Bridge is concerned, I want to tell you, he is above and beyond the average obnoxious caller. And we have a few. Phil is loathsome, he's despicable, and Phil, above all else, you're a small hypocrite. Here you talk about the language you don't like being used by Joy Behar or the Sliwas, and yet look at the vile, filthy language you used on me. Phil, you are a total failure, a fake, and a phony. And you know something, Phil? And this is no big, brave statement on my part, because you sound like a doddering geriatric jerk. But I'll tell you something, Phil. I would love to meet you face to face. I would love to duke it out with you. And you know something, Phil? I would gladly smash your nose right down your dumb throat. But would you do me one little favor? Sign a release saying that after I mashed you, you wouldn't sue me. You scumbag! Hey, Larry's checking in right here from New York City. Hello, Larry.
Hello, Bob. I'd like to say it's comforting to know that there are people like Mr. Weber who are standing up to the wave of social, sexual engineers with their blood-ridden solution. I'd like to comment about the Israeli action this morning. If I can engage in fantasy,
I'm listening.
Yeah, the two UN so-called peacekeeping soldiers that were wounded.
Yes.
I think they should have been shot or even mutilated. And when the administration earlier this week called for restraint, that should have been the signal for the RDF to charge.
Why would you want these UN people shot or mutilated? Why would you want that?
Well, the reports of the fist fights, and they're standing in the way. And let's face it.
No, you haven't given me a justification for such an absurd statement.
Okay, let me try a little better.
It's as absurd as your comment about Weber.
What did I say about Weber?
You said he's standing in the way of what, I don't know, but you said he's standing.
No, I said they're standing up against.
Against what? What is he standing against? Common sense, decency?
I said standing up for morality against the insane, what I call social sexual engineers.
Well, the social sexual engineers are on the other side.
That's what I said.
Oh, that's what you did. Hey, you know what, Larry? Why don't you go out to Old Bridge and say hello to Phil? I think the two of you would get along real well.
Oh, wait a minute, Mr. Grant. Why all this?
Hey, look, I don't like you. I don't like you one single bit. I don't like that. I don't like that comment about they should be shot or mutilated. It makes no sense. You're not making any sense, you jerk.
Will you let me talk, please?
Let you talk. I've been letting you talk. You haven't made any sense so far.
Give me a chance to make sense, and just give me...
All I'm doing is giving you a chance to show people how stupid you are.
Okay, I'm stupid. Can I talk?
Yeah, you can talk for a bit. Don't get on my nerves too much. What is it you want to say? You want to try to make a comeback?
I'm just trying to explain what you said, that you thought you and peacekeepers...
you don't know what you're talking about, you jerk. What a jerk. Yeah, I gotta get out of here. What the heck am I doing? And I go extend the thing for an hour yet. Instead of 3 hours, 4 hours. For what?
Thing. I heard you make a comment about Martin Luther King, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. You said he doesn't deserve a holiday.
You make the sign of the cross when you say that bum's
me,
name.
I'm talking.
You
genuflect. Robert, you're being rude.
Oh, you don't talk to me that way, bum. I would have kept you on, but you don't address me that way. You don't talk to me like you're the schoolmaster and I'm some schoolboy, you jerk. Oh, I shouldn't have hung up on him when I did. I happened to look at the windows in the and that lead to the room to the left, and they do need cleaning.
Oh, Phyllis, you're on WABC. Hello.
Hello, Bob. One of your previous callers mentioned your lexicon, and that is at the heart of my complaint. I think I'm representing not only myself, but thousands of your listeners who don't speak one word of Italian. Unfortunately, the most cogent, pungent, pithiest part of your conversations are always left until the very last minute, and it's always in Italian, and I can't understand what you're saying. Couldn't you, at some point, explain some of the terms you use, cockazode and ufa, and I didn't even know them all. One time you told somebody that something meant a cucumber. And I would love to know. There are a lot of people I'd like to call cucumbers, but I don't want them to know it.
Jadro. All right, cockazode is a scaredy cat. Ufa has no translation. It's just an expletive. But I thank you for the call. That slams the limb on things for today and for this week. Until Monday, this is Bob Grant reminding you your influence counts. Use it.